As a finance person, this is a very, very important topic to me, something that a lot of founders struggle with. They might have the best product on earth, but their cryptoeconomics and their tokenomics are not always serving the product best. And in order to understand how both of these worlds tie together, it's really important to understand how cryptoeconomics work. And for this, I'm really happy to introduce Lisa Tan from Economics Design to talk about this on an interesting keynote about cryptoeconomics for noobs. Welcome, Lisa Tan.
Hi everyone. It's post-lunch, and I can see that everyone is sitting all the way at the back, and there are a lot of people standing behind. So if you want, you just can come forward. I'm not going to bite, and you can just come forward to join us in the front. So today I'm going to talk about an introduction to crypto economics and how is it different from token economics. We're in a crypto event here today, and everyone talks about token economics as something, as hype, as something to invest in. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to teach you the difference, the fundamental difference between crypto economics, token economics, what you should think about when you're building your system, whatever system that you're building. So before we get started, can I have a show of hands? How many of you are founders here? Founders or builders? One person. Right, thank you for coming. Everyone's working, I guess. Okay, and who else are VCs, investors, people interested in the pump of tokens? Okay, we've got 3, 4 people. All right, and where are the rest of you guys from? Are you guys tourists here? Is this our first crypto event? Come on, someone tell me, where are you guys from? If you're not marketing, okay, perfect. I like that. How many in marketing? Amazing. Okay. All right. I can see that where the marketing folks are here. So I will try to tailor this to a bit more marketing focus so it helps you in your work as well. And I make sure that my core focus is to get the builders, the protocol founders to understand what crypto economics is and how do we build a very robust system. All right. Click, click. The clicky click doesn't work. All right, but it's okay, I can get started. Oh, okay, right, we're here today. So I'll try to keep this within 10 minutes, and I'll leave Q&A open for later. A quick introduction about myself. I'm the founder and the principal economist at Economics Design. So we're a consultancy firm. I've worked with games, worked with DeFi, layer ones, and enterprises, and we've been around for 6 years, and we've got 14, 15 people over 4 continents. So I want to leave the 5 minutes of Q&A to give you guys a chance to ask me questions. Treat me as your ChatGPT. Treat me as your Google. Ask me the questions you've been wanting to ask ChatGPT, but ChatGPT can't give you the answer. And as a result, the person with the best question will get the version 2 of this book. It's not out yet. I have 2 books in my bag, and so I'll give one of you guys who asked the best question. So let's get started. I want to talk a little bit about what is economics. Then we go into Economics 101. What is the difference between crypto economics and token economics? And then finally, what to do after we understand what economics needs to be done. This is relevant for marketing. This is relevant for founders. And this is also relevant if you are in the investing team and you want to do some form of due diligence. If you are in the listing team of an exchange, you also want to do some due diligence. How on earth do you do that? We'll check that out. Lastly, Q&A. So I want to begin with a little quiz. You guys have to raise your hands for this. If I get a chance to build a brand new planet, you know, I'm not Elon Musk that will go to Mars. Let's say we build a brand new planet. You've got 2 options here. The first option is to define the countries, the governance structure, the laws, the number of resources in place. Will there be gold underground? Will there be lots of trees? How much water of oceans will this planet be? Option 2, you define the Newtonian physics as rules to govern activities on the planet. So a raise of hand, if you are the economist of this planet, if you're the creator of this planet, who would choose option 1? That's option 1 is the first thing you want to do. 2, 3, 4, okay. And how many of you would choose option 2? Option 2 is the thing you want to do. Okay, good balance. All right, so the things that we want to do as an economist is to focus on option 2. Because economics is not about what is out there. It's not about this total supply of tokens. It's not about how governance structure would be. It's not about how people interact. It's about what are the rules, the main rules that even if you're the president, you are the road sweeper, you are a regular person standing on the stage, these rules all apply to you. This is Newtonian physics. Whether you're fat, you're skinny, you're an elephant, you're a chair, if you fall downwards because that's gravity. This is a fundamental logic, a fundamental rule that applies to everyone on Earth, on this planet. And in a crypto equivalent, this is a fundamental law of force that applies to all economic agents, whether they're an investor, they stake their tokens, they are LP, they're a gamer in this ecosystem. These are laws that apply equally to everyone. And this is absolutely important in economics, because we're not biased to anyone or any specific economic agent. We want to create the right kind of laws that impacts this ecosystem, and for this ecosystem to really grow and thrive. And this is where economics comes in. Economics, in a very traditional view, is the study of production, consumption, and distribution of goods. In a very, very simple understanding, economics is really just three things. It's incentives, disincentives, punishments, and behaviors. When you think about the government increasing their interest rates, or increasing more monetary M1 or M2, they're launching more money in the space, or different kind of economic policies in place, it's not because the government is biased towards some kind of things. What the government wants to do is to create incentives or disincentives to alter people's behaviors. That's it. That's what economics is about. We want to alter people's behaviors with the kind of rules that we have in place. And this is what we want to do in the crypto space. Whether you're talking about crypto economics or token economics, it's all about creating the rules that applies to everyone in the ecosystem to impact their behaviors. That's it, impacting their behaviors. It's very similar to things that you do in marketing. Marketing has a little bit more psychological aspect. Here we're talking about rational rules in place to impact people's decisions. So, what does that mean? When we talk about creating brand new planets, we're creating brand new rules. These are the questions that we want to ask. What does it mean to build a brand new planet? What are the rules we need to create? What are these new rules in place? How do we start thinking about the rules? What are the constraints of these rules? There are a lot of things to think about. It's not the questions you should be asking. It's not what's the total circulating supply of tokens? What's the distribution of tokens? What is the vesting period of tokens? These are questions you can ask 5 steps down the road. When we think about economics in its first right, we want to understand what are these rules that will be embedded within the economic laws that we are writing. So that's the answer that we're going to figure out towards the end of the slides. But right now, I want to share a little bit more about the difference between crypto economics and token economics. You hear these words a lot, and they're actually very similar in a lot of aspects, but they have very different ways of execution. The short-term answer, the TLDR, is that crypto economics talks about the economics of the base layer, the blockchain layer. Things like NEAR protocol, Ethereum, talks about the economics of the base layer, very much focusing on the security, the economic security of messages being passed. Token economics, on the other hand, talks about the economics of an ecosystem, the economics, the rules in place to incentivize users to collaborate and coordinate with each other. It's no longer about security and liveness and integrity of the messages being validated, which is crypto economics. Token economics talks about the economics of an ecosystem and a structure. So you can get these slides, I'm sure, later. So I just want to run you through because I want to focus on token economics and explain how do you build a robust ecosystem. So the similarity is that token economics and crypto economics are all about economics. Again, it's all about creating rules, the right incentives and the disincentives. The thing is, you can create rules for very different intentions, purposes, and outcomes. The economic policies of the Chinese government versus the Taiwanese government versus the US government versus the Argentinian government, they're all economics. But the economic details and the way that it's being executed is very different because it has very different intents, purposes, and outcomes. So this is what I'm trying to explain over here. So in crypto economics, the base layer economics, what it wants to do is to honestly record information and talk about economic security. If you look at the core principles of crypto economics, the core principles of blockchain layer, there are 2 key features. The first one is correctness, and the second is liveliness. These are 2 key features. Whatever blockchain you build on, these are 2 key features that's very important. So when we talk about economics over here, we want to incentivize more correctness and liveliness. So here we're talking about crypto security, economic security. On the other hand, token economics is about incentivizing transactions within an ecosystem, within an economy. Why do people come to the market, this market, to trade and interact with each other? Because they want to trade, they want to speak to each other, they want to transact with each other, they want to coordinate. So we need the economic policies to incentivize this. So in short, cryptoeconomics is the study of designing properties used to make it costly for an adversarial attack and to create incentives to honestly record information. And this is basically what crypto is about, what blockchain is about, is to incentivize the validators to validate the transaction, validate the right transaction, and make it very expensive for adversarial attack or or to go against Byzantine fault attacks. So you can get the slides later, you can read more about it and talk about the properties. So the difference between cryptoeconomics and token economics is that the economics goal in cryptoeconomics is to minimize adversarial attacks. So here it's about cryptography plus computer science engineering and math, economics math, added together to create the right economic policies. On the other hand, token economics is a study of the factors of production that affect, define, and governs the ecosystem. So this is a very different category of economics. Again, you can take the slides and you can read them all later. It goes into details. And this is the slide that I want to end with, which is how do you design an ecosystem? We talk about cryptoeconomics versus token economics. It's very different. Cryptoeconomics is all about the base layer economics. And I'm pretty sure most of you over here are interested in token economics, the economics of ecosystems, the economics of applications. And we designed this in a 3-pillar framework. The first one is market design. Who is in the market? Who gets to participate in the market? What kind of behaviors we want to incentivize in the market? What kind of assets exist in the market? Here we're not talking about total circulating supply, but here we're talking about, are there fungible tokens? Are there non-fungible tokens? Are there tradable tokens? Are there stable currencies that represent a medium of exchange? Are there assets that represent store of value? Just understanding, detailing the parameters of this market allows us to design the right kind of market structure. The second thing we want to look at is mechanism design. In mechanism design, these are the rules that people need to follow when they trade and transact with each other. These could be non-financial incentives. These could be governance, which we'll talk about later. This could be the economic structure. How does bargaining protocol look like? Is there auction theory coming into place to determine how users interact with each other? So these are the rules that we have in place, the mechanism design aspect. And realize we have not even talked about tokens at all. And in the last phase, we finally talk about tokens. And in tokens here, we want to understand what are the tokens present in this economy? What are the rules that these tokens need to follow? We talk about programmable tokens. And what does that mean? What kind of rules do they need to follow when they are executed and being launched in the market? Tradable, non-tradable, fungible, non-fungible. It does not matter. What it matters is it represents something. At the end of the day, the token is a means to an end. It's a means to get people to behave in a specific way you want them to behave according to your market structure that you have agreed in the very first place. So this is how we design an ecosystem. We start with the market. We move on and define who is in the market. When we create the rules, who will these rules impact? Understand the incentives we want to create to drive them to interact with each other. And lastly, the tokens in place to facilitate, a means to an end to facilitate these transactions. So with that in mind, I want to conclude with the learning points, and then I just want to open, I guess we've got time for 2 questions. So the difference between cryptoeconomics and token economics is it depends on the ecosystems you're designing. If you're designing a blockchain ecosystem, the most important thing you're talking about is economic security. How do I make sure that there is no hacks, there is no adversarial attacks? Whereas if you're designing an ecosystem, you want to design an ecosystem to encourage economic participation and transaction within each other. Token economics is based on economic transaction in the ecosystem because it's all about people coming together, interacting, and collaborating with each other. And finally, there is no one perfect way to design an economy. That's why the framework exists, for you to understand how do I dissect the economy into 3 components, dive into these 3 components, and do due diligence in that sense. So with that, I want to open the floor to questions. We have 1.5 minutes. Yes?
What are common pitfalls you see that people working with cryptoeconomics are most often do? What are the things that people stumble upon most easily?
Great question. Phil, right? So Phil asked the question, what are the common pitfalls that people stumble into when designing the ecosystem? So the truth is that, as much as I mentioned, there is the market design, mechanism design, and token design. And usually we start this way. We start with a business plan. What's the business plan? What's the business model? Who are the economic agents we want to care about? And then we design the incentives that's aligned to the revenue stream and business model. Then we talk about tokens. One thing that people usually do is they do it the other way around. I've got tokens, and why do I need tokens? I need tokens to fundraise. I don't know what kind of business model I have. It doesn't matter, because all I know is it's a hot market right now. I need to fundraise, and the investors are expecting tokens. So from there, they start working backwards. And that's not exactly wrong, because sometimes that could work. But the problem is all these tokens that exist need to align with the reason why tokens exist. Tokens cannot exist because I want to fundraise. That's not the reason for tokens to exist. Tokens exist for a long-term perspective. It's about creating value in the long run to allow this ecosystem to be very robust, to keep growing. And if you're just creating a token for the sake of creating token for investors to come in and then they can dump it after, that's absolutely the wrong way to create tokens. Super. And anyone? Yes? So he is asking, can I create any ecosystem without any tokens? Very good question. Absolutely yes. It's not in my interest to say yes, but the truth is that yes. There's so many ecosystems out there without any tokens. At the end of the day, a token is just a means to an end. It's just a tool used to allow people to collaborate and coordinate. An ecosystem is getting people together to interact with each other. You do not need a token to do that. A token can help in a lot of different ways, but it's not a necessary tool. All right. Are we done? OK, I'm so sorry that I'm done, but you can still hear me later because I'm going to be here again. Thank you.